Look who it is, everybody. It's RJ Bell.
Hello.
Good to meet you, the CEO of pregame.com. And we're going to give some betting advice for the Super Bowl because a lot of people who are watching may make one bet a year, and that's on the big game.
Might as well win.
You might as well, exactly. And this guy knows how to win. We're going to get to that in just a second. But you've had an amazing handicapping year. You and the guys, Fez and Matty Holt and the rest.
Yep. Well, we're in the Super Contest, the $5,000 version, and we're one game out of first.
So this is the Super Contest Gold. This is really, not only is it called the Gold, but it's the gold standard for handicappers.
Well, it's the biggest when it comes to the number of entrants for this amount of money, the $5,000.
So $5,000 per entry, and the winner take all, like $625,000.
$640.
$640.
Yeah.
I'm subtracting the amount you're going to have for your party when you win the whole thing. But these guys are this close. You're on the precipice of winning that contest.
One team ahead of us, and we're in second all by ourselves. They are in trouble.
I know you keep talking about them on your Dreamcast. We'll talk about that too. But you guys have been at 65% winners this year. Mm-hmm. And while I don't know if that sounds impressive to our audience, if you can pick 65% winners against the spread, you can quit your job and you can get a yacht and a mansion.
Well, here's the thing. If you can hit 55% winners, you can quit your job.
And get a yacht and a mansion.
A yacht and a mansion. Think about it like this. If a random coin flipper against the bookie. So let's say you just flip coins, went down and bet. Your edge, that bookie's edge over you, is smaller than if you hit 55%, your edge over the bookie. So you're better off than the bookie against a drunk, let's say.
Right.
If you just hit 55%. 65 takes a lot of luck. We've been lucky this year, but good and lucky.
Yeah, I would say good and lucky for sure. So let's talk about how this kid who comes from a small town in Ohio, outside of Pittsburgh, your dream since the time you were a teenager was to move to Las Vegas and get into sports betting. Why?
Well, you know, my dad was a coal miner, my mom a school teacher, and back then, and I grew up in the 80s, was the spot sheets, which were parlay cards, would come out of the coal mines. And I was a very analytical kid, but this was pre-internet. You know, USA Today was just hitting the town, and you didn't really have a sense of Wall Street. I didn't understand Wall Street, but I understood, hey, if I give the bookie 20 and I win, I'll get 200 back. So for me, being analytically inclined, I enjoyed the pursuit of, and plus I like the ego of beating the man.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Ohio State, got a finance degree. And then I said, you know, I'm pretty good at finance. I'm pretty good at sports betting. Not many people do both, and here we are, 20 years in Vegas.
And look at you, the CEO of pregame.com. You really made a name for yourselves. And what I'm impressed by is you now have this national radio show. It's based out of Las Vegas, 200 stations nationwide. It's on from 3 to 4 in the afternoon, and it's all about sports betting.
Yes, and it's on Fox Sports Radio. So it's Colin Cowherd, Doug Gottlieb, then our show. So it's like
Colin Cowherd. Colin used to work at this television. He used to walk these hallowed halls here.
We became friends over the years.
And he's pretty sharp as a handicapper, I think.
For a radio guy, he's about as good as they come.
I like it.
Until I went on there, he was the best.
I listened to his Blazing 5, by the way, every Friday afternoon. So let's talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. And people are like, I can bet the Super Bowl now. As a matter of fact, you can. And it may behoove you to do so. We haven't seen the latest number on the side, but they have the NFC pitted versus the AFC, and they have a spread on the game right now.
Yeah, NFC favored, and I think the Saints are clearly the best team. And then after that, there's a cluster. We can talk about the Patriots. Oh, they've dropped off, just lost to the Steelers. Kansas City, 3 straight games without covering. As you said, lost the last game. You got the Chargers, who may be the best team in the AFC, but they're going to have to play 2 road games to get to the Super Bowl unless they win the division. So no team is perfect. It really is parity this year in the NFL.
So if you decide, you can go down and bet the game today, the Super Bowl. You can bet it today. If you think that the Saints are clearly the best, you may want to lay the short number at 1.5 or 2. But if you think that the AFC can beat them, you may want to play that price and actually take some points. By the way, I want to get out your Twitter handle. It's at RJ in Vegas.
Very simple.
And if you're a sports bettor, you've got to listen to this every week. He does one on college and pro. It's RJ Bell's Dream Preview. He has Steve Fezzik on the show, who probably is the sharpest NFL public handicapper on the planet today, and it's easy to find on podcasts. You just Google RJ Bell's Dream Preview. It is a must listen for every sports bettor out there across the country.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
My pleasure.
We'll be right back.